They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, I'm about to serve up a whole damn Arctic buffet. Hey everyone, Mark Davidson here. Yeah, Davidson Enterprises. Ring any bells? Maybe you've seen my name in the business section, maybe not. Truth is, lately, I've been keeping a pretty low profile. And there's a damn good reason for that. Let me spin you a yarn. It's a story about family, ambition, betrayal, and a healthy dose of karma. The kind that hits you like a freight train when you least expect it. For 10 years, I was the CEO of Davidson Enterprises. My dad, God rest his soul, built that company from the ground up. Started with nothing but a dream and a whole lot of elbow grease. He was a force of nature, that man. Always had a twinkle in his eye, a booming laugh that could fill a room, and an unwavering belief in the power of hard work. I remember watching him, even as a kid, sketching designs on napkins, negotiating deals on payphones, just grinding, always grinding. After he passed 10 years ago, he left it to me and my sister, Emily. Emily's 5 years younger than me, always been driven. Some might even say cutthroat. Growing up, she was the princess, always getting what she wanted. Dad doted on her, maybe a little too much. I was the responsible one, the one who got good grades, followed the rules, and helped out around the house. We were close growing up, or at least, that's what I told myself. We shared secrets, built forts in the backyard, and navigated the treacherous waters of high school together. I genuinely believed we were a team. I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into that company, revitalized it, modernized it, dragged it kicking and screaming into the 21st century, tripled its profits in under 5 years. Hell, I practically lived at the office. I was the first one in, the last one out. Weekends? What weekends? It was all work, all the time. I streamlined operations, invested in new technologies, and expanded into emerging markets. Thought I was doing a pretty damn good job. Dad would have been proud. He always said, "Mark, take care of the company, and the company will take care of you." I took those words to heart. Emily always worked in the company too, mostly in marketing. And to give credit where credit is due, she's got a knack for it. She's got this infectious energy, charm for days. Creative, energetic, knows how to spin a story. She could sell ice to Eskimos, seriously. She understood branding, public relations, all that stuff. But business acumen? Strategic thinking? Let's just say it wasn't exactly her strong suit. Numbers weren't her thing. Risk assessment? Forget about it. She preferred attending galas to analyzing spreadsheets, that's for sure. I always made sure she felt included, valued her opinions, even when I vehemently disagreed. I'd patiently explain the financial implications of her marketing campaigns, the potential risks involved in her ambitious expansion plans. She'd listen, nod politely, then proceed to do whatever she wanted anyway. You know, classic big brother move, right? Protect your little sis. Keep her away from the sharp edges. Looking back, maybe I was too protective. Maybe I underestimated her. Maybe I coddled her too much. Then, a few months ago, out of left freaking field, I get sucker punched. The board of directors, which, by the way, included my own sister, Emily, calls a special emergency meeting. The atmosphere was thick with tension. You could cut it with a knife. I walked into that room expecting to discuss quarterly earnings, maybe propose a new investment strategy. Instead, I walked into a goddamn ambush. Accusations start flying around like confetti at a damn parade. Mismanagement, reckless spending, neglecting investor relations, blah, blah, blah. All complete and utter garbage, carefully orchestrated lies designed to paint me as some kind of incompetent buffoon. They claimed I was out of touch, that I was stuck in the past, that I was jeopardizing the future of the company. It was all so absurd, so blatantly untrue. And who's spearheading the whole damn thing? Little Miss Ambitious herself, Emily. My own flesh and blood. I looked at her across the table. She didn't meet my eye. She just sat there, stony-faced, reading from a prepared statement. It was like she was reciting lines from a play, completely devoid of emotion. I couldn't believe it. This was my sister, the girl I'd shared my whole life with, the girl I'd always protected. And she was stabbing me in the back. Long story short, I got voted out. Fired. By my own freaking sister. Said she wanted new leadership to take the company to the next level. Next level of what? Selling out the company to the highest bidder and lining her pockets? I wouldn't put it past her. She's always had a weakness for the finer things in life. The fast cars, the designer clothes, the VIP treatment. Money talks, and Emily listens. loudly. She surrounded herself with yes-men and sycophants, people who would tell her exactly what she wanted to hear. I was beyond furious. Heartbroken doesn't even begin to cover it. Utterly devastated. It felt like a punch to the gut, a betrayal so deep it shook me to my core. For weeks, I was a ghost of myself, wandering around in a daze, replaying every conversation, every decision, trying to figure out where I went wrong. How could she do that to me? To our family? To Dad's legacy? I felt utterly betrayed, like someone had ripped out my heart and stomped on it. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I just sat there, staring at the walls, wondering what the hell had just happened. But after the initial wave of anger and grief subsided, something else started to bubble up, slowly but surely. Cold, calculated determination. A burning desire to make things right. A thirst for justice. An icy resolve to show them all, especially Emily, that they had messed with the wrong man. Emily thought she was so clever. She thought she'd outsmarted me. She thought she'd won the game. She thought she'd gotten rid of me, the obstacle in her path to the top. She flaunted her success, basking in the glory of her newfound power. She gave interviews where she talked about her vision for the company, how she was going to revolutionize the industry. She even started using my dad's catchphrases, which just made my blood boil. But what she didn't realize, what she completely overlooked, is that I've been playing chess while she's been busy playing checkers. See, there was this one thing my dad entrusted only to me. A secret project, something so revolutionary, so groundbreaking, it could shake the entire industry to its core. Something Emily knows absolutely nothing about. A project called Project Phoenix. I remember the day Dad told me about Project Phoenix. I was still in college, green as grass, thinking I had the world figured out. He called me into his office, a rare occasion. He usually kept his work life completely separate from his family life. But that day was different. He seemed excited. He sat me down in his study, the room filled with the scent of old books and pipe tobacco, and showed me the prototypes. Revolutionary battery technology, capable of powering entire cities on a fraction of the resources. It was decades ahead of its time. He said, "Mark, this is our legacy. This is how we'll make a real difference in the world. But it's fragile. You have to protect it." Emily, bless her heart, was more interested in social media and fashion trends. She saw the company as a vehicle for her personal ambitions, a stepping stone to fame and fortune. I tried to talk to her about the importance of Project Phoenix, but she just brushed it off. "That sounds boring, Mark," she'd say. "Focus on the marketing. That's where the real money is." She never understood the true potential of Project Phoenix, the groundbreaking impact it could have on the world. She was too focused on superficial things, on the fleeting pleasures of wealth and status. While Emily's been busy throwing lavish parties, hobnobbing with celebrities, and posing for magazine covers as the new visionary of Davidson Enterprises, I've been quietly laying the groundwork, building my own empire, one calculated move at a time, working tirelessly, fueled by anger and a desire for revenge, using the resources she unwittingly left me with, the contacts I'd made over the years, the knowledge I'd gained while running the company, using the connections I've cultivated over years, using the skills I honed while building our dad's legacy. She thought she was taking everything. She was wrong. She just gave me a head start. She lit the fire that forged the phoenix. She thinks she's won. She thinks she's safe. She thinks she's untouchable. But she's about to learn a very valuable lesson. A lesson that my dad taught me a long time ago. Never underestimate a man who's been betrayed. And more importantly, never underestimate the power of a secret, especially when that secret is about to change the world. She's about to learn the hard way that revenge is a dish best served stone cold. The game's just begun, Emily. And trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. This is going to be epic. This isn't just about taking back what's mine. It's about exposing her for who she really is. It's about protecting my father's legacy. And it's about changing the world for the better. The board meeting was a sham, a carefully orchestrated coup. I walked into that room completely blindsided. Emily sat there with this smug little smile on her face, surrounded by her cronies. She read out a list of fabricated charges, accusations that were so ludicrous they would have been laughable if the situation wasn't so dire. I tried to defend myself, but it was no use. The vote was rigged. I was out. They had been planning this for months, meticulously building their case, poisoning the well with lies and half-truths. The days that followed were a blur of disbelief and anger. I shut myself off from the world, wallowing in self-pity. My phone rang incessantly, but I ignored it. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I felt like a complete failure. I had let my father down. I had let myself down. I had let Emily win. Then, one night, I woke up in a cold sweat. I had a dream about my dad. He was standing in his study, pointing at the blueprints for Project Phoenix. He looked disappointed. That's when I knew I couldn't give up. I had a responsibility to carry on his legacy, to protect what he had entrusted to me. I couldn't let Emily destroy everything he had worked so hard to build. I started making calls. Quietly, discreetly, I reached out to my old contacts, the people who knew the real me, the people who believed in me. I assembled a small team of loyal engineers and scientists, the best in the business. We worked in secret, using a hidden lab that my dad had set up years ago. It was like something out of a spy movie. We were ghosts, operating in the shadows, driven by a shared sense of purpose. We resurrected Project Phoenix, improving on the original design, incorporating the latest technological advancements. It was a race against time, but we were driven by a shared sense of purpose. We knew that we were on the verge of something truly revolutionary. We were building a better future, one battery at a time. Meanwhile, Emily was busy basking in the spotlight. She was giving interviews, attending galas, and posing for magazine covers. She was living the high life, completely oblivious to the storm that was brewing beneath the surface. She thought she was untouchable, invincible. She had no idea what was coming. I watched her every move, carefully plotting my next step. I knew that the time would come when I would have to reveal my hand. The time for reckoning was approaching. The opportunity presented itself sooner than I expected. Emily announced that Davidson Enterprises was planning to launch a new line of electric vehicles. She claimed that they would be powered by the most advanced battery technology on the market. But I knew the truth. They were using outdated technology, inferior to what we had developed with Project Phoenix. They were cutting corners, sacrificing quality for profit. That's when I decided to strike. I leaked information about Project Phoenix to a major news outlet. The story went viral. The world was buzzing about the revolutionary battery technology that could change the future of energy. Emily was caught completely off guard. She tried to deny the validity of the reports, but it was too late. The cat was out of the bag. The truth was out there, and it couldn't be contained. The stock price of Davidson Enterprises plummeted. Investors were panicking. They realized that Emily had been misleading them, that her promises were empty. The board of directors called another emergency meeting. This time, Emily was the one in the hot seat. The tables had turned. I watched the whole thing unfold from my office, a sense of grim satisfaction washing over me. I knew that Emily's reign was coming to an end. She had underestimated me, and she had paid the price. She had played her hand poorly, and she was about to lose everything. The board voted to remove Emily as CEO. She was escorted out of the building, her face flushed with anger and humiliation. As she walked past the security desk, she caught my eye. She glared at me, her eyes filled with hatred. "You haven't won, Mark," she hissed. "This isn't over." She was defiant, even in defeat. She refused to admit that she had been wrong. I just smiled. "Oh, Emily," I said. "It's over. It's been over for a long time." The words tasted like victory, but also like ashes. With Emily out of the picture, the board asked me to return as CEO. I accepted, but on one condition: that Project Phoenix would be the company's top priority. They agreed without hesitation. They had learned their lesson. They knew that I was the only one who could save the company. We launched Project Phoenix to critical acclaim. The technology was even more revolutionary than we had anticipated. It transformed the energy industry, creating a cleaner, more sustainable future. Davidson Enterprises became a global leader, its stock price soaring to new heights. We were changing the world, one battery at a time. I had achieved everything I had set out to do. I had avenged my father's legacy, and I had proven Emily wrong. I had shown her that she couldn't underestimate me, that I was a force to be reckoned with. I had won, but the victory felt hollow. I realized that revenge wasn't as satisfying as I had imagined. It didn't bring me happiness. It didn't bring me closure. The anger and resentment still lingered, a dull ache in my heart. What did bring me happiness was seeing the positive impact that Project Phoenix had on the world. It was knowing that I was making a real difference, that I was contributing to something bigger than myself. It was about creating a better future for everyone, not just for myself. As for Emily, She disappeared from the public eye. I heard rumors that she had moved to Europe, that she was living off her inheritance. I haven't seen her or spoken to her since that day at the security desk. She had vanished into thin air, leaving behind a trail of broken dreams and shattered relationships. Sometimes, I wonder if she ever regrets what she did. I wonder if she ever thinks about our dad, about the legacy that she tried to destroy. But I don't dwell on it. I've moved on. I have a company to run, a world to save. I have a purpose, and that's all that matters. Maybe, someday, she'll understand. But until then, I'll keep fighting for what's right, keeping my father's dream alive. The Arctic buffet has been served.